Brand out today, so let's do fun, cute stuff with my husband. Alright! Do you know what I'll be asking you?
Not really.
Alright.
Not really.
In your opinion, for you as a married man,
It's a married man.
and you are still married,
Mhm.
and I'm assuming I'm still married to you.
I assume.
Okay. Oh, how important for
Yes.
you to have an educated wife?
Well, like a lot of guys, when I discovered the Philippines, I was online. We were on Cherry Blossoms, a couple other places. And, you know, you get to select the parameters of who you're talking to. Their age, where they come from, all that kind of thing. And yes, education was very important. So I selected that I wanted somebody with either a university degree or who was in university. So that was sort of frankly, a way to eliminate people who were not educated. Even though they may have been very nice, I had just decided that it was important that somebody was smart, that somebody spoke English well enough, which in the university system, you have to certainly speak at least some English, and that there was somebody who had an education that I could speak to, and that have a conversation with more than just, what did you eat for lunch? Which, you know, for many of the girls, they're very nice, but that usually was the conversation. Well, what was your lunch, you know? And after that, you ran out of things to talk about. But with you, Janet, and other girls that I talked to who had a university education, there was a little bit more to talk about. Also, I knew that most of those people were ambitious. In other words,
Driven.
they had to work hard to get the degree, to pay for the schooling. Yes, you were driven. And that was important also. So, now, that was before we got married. How important is it now that we're married? It's also very important because, again, you understand how to critically think. Even though there are many things you might not know, particularly about life in the Western world, you were able to figure out about it because of your educational background, because you're a smart person.
Thank you.
So does that answer your question? No?
Very well.
Okay.
It's just your opinion for
That
you
is my
since
opinion
you
for
married
me.
to an
And I understand that
educated woman with
many
degree.
of my friends have wives and girlfriends who don't have an education, and yet they too are smart. But it was important to me to. And the truth is, you have 2 degrees. That's 2 degrees more than I have. So
And I made it for 5
you made it
years.
through. And put yourself through it and worked very hard. So
Thank
that was
you.
important.
Thank you. Right, that is a great opinion or answer. Let's put that way. So can I have one more?
Sure.
All right. Since we've been married for 8 years,
No,
give or take. How many years?
6.5.
Oh shit! sorry. 6.5. So,
But we've known each
I-
other. We've been
I
together
know.
for about 8.
All right.
Yes.
So, in reality, what is your favorite part of our marriage?
Oh my goodness. See, that is something that really many things. I don't know that there's one. There's many things, and I could give many answers. One answer that's very different in my experience from the women in the country where I lived is that when we have, whether a disagreement or a discussion or whatever, rather than being upset for hours, days, weeks, months, you're usually pretty nice 5, 10, 20 minutes later. So that sounds silly, but it's actually pretty important. We might have a discussion, we might have a disagreement. I may have even said something you didn't like, and yet 5 minutes later, it's sort of like, oh, let's have lunch. What do you want to eat? So you have a very pleasant,
Approach.
yeah, yeah.
How come I have a pleasant approach?
That I don't know. You have to ask yourself on that one. But that is important, because if you're together 6 years or 60 years, you're going to have those discussions. You're going to disagree about little things and big things, and if your partner punishes you for weeks and months, it's really unpleasant, and you don't do that. There's lots of fun. I mean, we have lots of fun, but really. It gives me confidence that we can talk about anything, even things that aren't positive. And I know you're not going to run off, and you're not going to hold a grudge for forever. And you have a pleasant nature. And I think some of that is you, and I think some of that is the Philippines. I just think there is a more easygoing manner here for most people than there is in my home country.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.